All right, looks like everyone can hear me. I'm getting great response, and yeah, I'm going to, no one's going to confuse me for a robot, at least, or maybe a replicant. Everyone see that movie Blade Runner? Anyway, so here we go. 4 simple steps to automated trading, diversifying your portfolio. We're not talking about stock picking today. We think we have a better idea, better approach, some automated trading, and we can even apply some of this automation to options trading. And people always ask, so I will address it right up front here. We can do this with an IRA, a self-directed IRA. All right, so with that said, remember, we're speculating. Speculators accept risk, just like in trading places. We're trying to profit as prices move up, down, and sideways. And there's always risk involved. So do take a look at the risk disclosure. It is important. Take a moment to read that. All right, very good. The most important thing there is past performance is no guarantee of future results. And you should only be using risk capital. So with that said, let's go ahead and move along here. Our goal today, we'll look at technology experts are using, something you've likely never seen, diversifying among global markets in bull, bear, and even sideways conditions. So 2 new solutions are algo-driven, automated systems trading. You can filter for performance or any criteria that you would like. You can just turn that switch off or on, flip that switch, and walk away. And then also options trading. We're going to show you how to do a lot of automation with some unique technology for options trading. So this is how you want to end up like this robot over here. You don't want to be this poor chap over here struggling with orders and making decisions. So stick around. We're going to use our time wisely. We're going to get through this and get into a lot of great material with a couple live demos. And we'll have a special offer worth over $32,000. We're going to offer that at a huge discount and even show you how to get it for free, everyone's favorite word. So a little bit about the agenda here. We'll talk about what's happening this week real briefly. We're not going to bore you with all that, but a little bit about us, 3 trading secrets, algo trading, and we'll have a live demo. Then we'll look at options with algo trading as well, using options. And then we'll have that special offer as well as some FAQs. So we're probably going to answer most of your FAQs by the end of this. And if we don't, you'll have a chance at the end. We'll ask some questions. Self-directed IRAs, absolutely. Thought I'd throw that in there right up front. So here we go. GDP, worst ever today. So that was kind of expected. Annualized negative 32.9%. So this is what it looks like on this chart here. Pretty dramatic, to say the least. So jobless claims above 1 million last week for the 19th straight week, and actually up from last week as well. And here's what happened. Here's a 1-minute chart on the E-mini S&P 500 as that economic data came out. See the markets falling apart. But since then, we've come and we've bounced a long way off those that bottom or that low earlier. But we'll see what happens. I guess all the tech companies reporting, and I suspect market will probably be unchanged by the close, waiting on anticipating that news. Powell spoke this week. Obviously, he kind of said what was obvious. The economy would be flattening as the COVID cases were increasing, so no surprise there. Pending home sales were up dramatically, actually. I guess there's 2 ways to look at that. Maybe a lot of pent-up demand. Congress is still wrangling over additional stimulus, so we'll see what happens there. Look at this fun story. Kodak up almost 2,200% after they announced they're, I guess, getting a loan from the Trump administration to be able to make some COVID-related drugs. So this is what the chart looks like, Kodak. So should have bought here, right? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Anyway, we're not talking about individual stocks later on. Just thought that was kind of a fun story. And here's gold, record highs this week. Fascinating what's going on there. Here's what happened to the S&P 500 this week. Look at that choppy roller coaster. And anyway, so that's what's happening this week. But remember, the point is markets are always correct. We aren't. and it can be expensive trying to convince the markets that you are correct. So we don't want to fight the tape. We want to trade what the market offers, trade the environment that we're in. And who are we? We are Altivest. We've been doing this since 1997. And there I am, yours truly, with some colleagues down on the trading floor, the CME group. And we've been doing this for a long time, since 1997. And we're regulated, of course. We're located in California and Illinois. And we are futures and options specialists with millions of contracts traded. If you're not familiar with futures and options, stick around. I'm going to show you why you need to be. So with all that experience, we've figured out a couple of things here along the way that are going to make it very, very appealing to you, user-friendly, and we're going to show you that in just a second. We like to think we haven't necessarily failed along the way, just found thousands of ways that don't work. So the point is, you don't want to do this by yourself like this guy and the mad scientist. Use our experience and the tools we've created. We're going to show you that. We've done this over the years with decades of experience, put together some technology for you. I think you're going to really like it. And who am I? I am Erik Gebhard. Been doing this about 29 years and started way back in 1991 when I received my license. I have my BS in Business Administration from University of Southern California. I got started, my interest sort of peaked during an investments course. We were looking actually, that is my textbook there with all my chicken scratch and notes. Actually enjoyed that quite a bit, but one of the few classes, right? There's always something that catches your attention, and that was it. So here's crude oil at the time, doubled in value. Gold prices had jumped. The oil fields in Kuwait were burning. So that was kind of the backdrop of when we were studying financial instruments, and that really piqued my interest. So I was in the securities industry for a time, and I thought the futures and options would be a bit more of interest, more suitable for me, and that's where I ended up, and that's where I've been since. So with that said, I'm going to give you more room on the screen here by turning the webcam off for the moment. So let's dig in. 3 trading secrets. Day trading. Okay. You don't really want to be like this person here trying to trade for a living in front of those screens. If you're doing it successfully, more power to you, but it's very difficult to day trade and succeed over a long period of time. You have these people now making headlines. Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, if you haven't heard of him, he's all over the internet, all over Twitter and social media. He's got an army of day traders. He says, I'll make this my full-time job. The game is too easy. I literally have the stock market in my back pocket. So he's been doing quite well since March, of course, which makes sense because stocks have done nothing but go up. But remember, it's not that easy over a period of time. Here's a guy that trained traders. He said it's about a 3.5 to 4.5% success rate. So once again, not to say you can't trade stocks. I mean, heck, all of us do, but it's a little bit unrealistic, I think, for most people to consider themselves or to consider that as a career. How about here, number 2, something we don't always think about, trading precision. So remember, if you're going to pick stocks, you have to be correct with the market, the direction, the strategy, your entry timing, and your exit, how to manage the risk and reward. That's a lot of things that have to go right. And remember too that if you think you're going to be smarter than this monkey, maybe you're wrong. It turns out that monkeys here, when these simulated results here of stock picking contest, outperform the index by an average of 1.7% per year. So I thought that's kind of a funny little anecdotal story. Article in Forbes. Also, robot analysts were outwit their humans on their investment picks. That's probably stating the obvious, only a matter of time, right? That's a Bloomberg article. So number 3, if we don't always realize it, maybe some of you more than others do, but really our own emotions get in our way. Hope, fear, greed, anxiety, those all become our own worst enemy. It's kind of one of those things where we just get in our own way. We have bad wiring. We have a built-in bias to essentially sell the lows and buy the highs, according to Mark Lindheim with Alexander Forbes Investments. We basically chase past performance, sell the lows, buy the highs, make poor investment decisions, and that's because of all those emotions swirling around. This guy here says your brain is killing your returns. I like that phrase. I think we can all relate to that. And number 3 here, to continue with that emotional theme, here's what's happening this year. A lot of the younger people are discovering day trading on their on their devices and phones and apps and using various apps and tablets and whatnot. And here's a little, I guess, a little story from a guy trading from the Financial Times. So after the COVID shutdowns and all the sports gambling was shut down, he fired up a dormant E-Trade account. Several $1,000s began to buy stocks. He says, I'm not here for the long run. I just want to throw a few $1,000s at something to see if I can make a few hundred. Well, nothing wrong with that, but that's definitely pure speculation is the point. So you have a lot of retail traders jumping in. And here's common biases when making decisions from the Motley Fool. I'm not going to go over all this, but you get it what I'm talking about. Confirmation bias, anchoring, and recency. I think you're all familiar with that. You have a thought, and the market makes a move in that direction. You think, aha, I'm a genius. The market confirmed it. Or maybe you're anchored to a particular position or mindset, and the market then follows through, or even recency. And I think that's a big problem right now. Since March, we've done nothing but basically go straight up. And let's be realistic. Markets don't go straight up forever. And but it sure seems that way lately. Here's a great cartoon. My stocks are doing great. What else is there to know? He's got blinders on. Meanwhile, this guy's reading the headlines about rising debt, tuition, food stamps, Americans out of the workforce, and so on and so forth. So just remember, the markets are always right. We aren't. You don't want to end up like this guy here with that on the tombstone. So you don't want to fight prices is really the bottom line there. Don't fight the algos, and that's because they're dominating 80% of the stock market. The algos, the machines causing sharp drops and rallies. Great piece from Seeking Alpha. All the institutional trading, large portion of it, sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, you name it. They're algo trading. This is what it looks like. The revolution of trading. I think that's a great little comic there. So here's where we are now. Here's where we were. Take a brief moment. I took this years ago. Real grainy little video on the floor of the NYMEX. So that's how it used to look, folks, not too long ago, but not anymore. It actually was very efficient, very effective, but computers have taken over. This is what it looks like now. No emotion, everything runs automatically with built-in risk controls. Sort of reminded me of the Terminator, so I thought I'd throw this quote in here. Remember, this one character in the movie says the Terminator's out there. It can't be bargained with, reasoned with, doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. It will absolutely not stop ever until your account is dead. So obviously I embellished on that green font there, but you get the idea. These algorithms can be very cold-hearted. So how can we use algos? Well, let's talk about that and let's jump into the demo, see how we can use the algos to our advantage. How about the solution for automated systems trading? User-friendly for novice or advanced users. You filter for any risk-reward parameter or capital requirement or type of strategy that you want, and I'll show you that. You can do it in minutes a day or not do anything with it. Just set it and forget it, as they say. And you just set it to off or on and walk away. Risk and profit controls are all automated. Bull, bear markets, markets moving up, moving down, it doesn't matter. The algos could care less. They have no bias and they trade in multiple markets, multiple sectors. So we're going to jump into a live demo here. Here's that test pilot. We've done all the testing for you with our decades of experience and put this together. So if you like what you see, we're going to show you how to take action at the end here. So now it's time to meet your new robot friends here at AV Systems. AltaVest Systems is what we call our platform, AV Systems. So let's go ahead and switch screens and we're going to jump on in to a live demo. All right, I think we're all set here. So now you are looking at the dashboard, the AV Systems. And let's walk you through this here. When I talked about 4 simple steps in the title to the presentation, this is what I'm referring to. And sorry for all the noise in the background, folks, if you can hear all that. Like I said, they're doing construction, but we'll get through it. All right, now what we're looking at here, you can see we're looking at this page here, the 25 of the over 1,800 available systems on this platform. Now, at first, people will always say, how do I know what system to choose? And what am I looking at? It seems complicated. Well, let's go through that. We're going to show you how to explore and choose systems, how to then subscribe to any system from the developer, then how do you activate that system in your account, then how do you monitor that system once you've done those first three. So first thing you want to do is notice this table here and all these headers. You can make this table look like anything you desire. You can perhaps remove some of these criteria and maybe add some others. Perhaps you're looking at the live profit and loss. And then you can see here that everything I just added is reflected in the table here. And you can also use a sorting here by clicking that for ascending and descending sorting. So annualized return on investment, worst drawdown, required capital, winning sessions percentage. Some of these systems have very, very high winning percentage, and others not as much. And that's okay too, because sometimes they have big wins and small losses. So it just depends. Here's your live profit and loss. So this trading, here's a NASDAQ system, $59,000 live profit so far. You could go trading since 2006, so on and so forth. So you can have a lot of fun by just customizing that table, but let's just go ahead back to default. Now the next step here is how do you really choose a system? Well, this is what you do. You use the filters, or you can, for example, use this field and type in gold if you want to look at gold systems, and you can see there's 107 here to choose from. Or maybe it's the NASDAQ. So you can see here's the NASDAQ, there's 162 to choose from, so on and so forth. Or you can just go use this filter tool. Now here are a couple of quick filters here that are very powerful, and a lot of people use these and I think it's effective. So how about this? You want to look at systems that have clients and each system is less than $5,000 to trade with. So let's use that as a filter. Now you can see there's 64 that meet that criteria. And you could then delete or clear all that filter, or you can customize using an advanced filter. So you can see all the criteria available here. So, you know, total profit and loss, live profit and loss, annualized ROI, best session, worst session, or maybe you want to look at a particular market or an intraday or a swing system. There are two types of systems, intraday and swing, available on the platform. Perhaps you want to filter for anything that has clients. So how about we'll add that as a system. And so now you see there's 173 to choose from. And we'll look at live, let's say live profit and loss. You can put in any number here that you wanted or use this slider. I'm not sure what result I'll end up with here, but here you've got 151 now that have meet these criteria. So anyway, you can go on and get very granular, and you can have a lot of fun with this, ending up with a universe of systems that meet all of your criteria. Or maybe you want to look at only a swing trading system. So now there's 56 that meet all these criteria here. And I'll point out too that when I mentioned swing trading and intraday, just to be clear, intraday means the system is always out by the close. So it's never going to be in over a weekend, and that can be for better or for worse. Now you see all those filters. I'll go ahead and clear all those. And I have a few that I've highlighted. You click any system here and it creates it as a favorite. And then you can filter for favorites in the ascending or descending. So let's go ahead and I'll do that here. So you can see these with the gold star, I've kind of saved as favorites. And here's one here called the black motorcycle. Now, Don't worry about the names. The developers come up with crazy names sometimes. But you can see here it started in 2008, total profit and loss, 149,000. Live profit and loss, 5,100. Winning sessions, 61%. The profit factor, annualized return on investment, 42%. The worst drawdown, $9,300, and required capital, $7,300. So let's drill down and look at this system a little more closely. And this is what it would look like for any system. Each one of the systems has its own profile or tear sheet, as they might call it. So you can see the name of the developer. The product is the E-mini S&P 500. It's intraday, so it means it's in and out on the same day, always out by the close. It costs $150 a month, and that comes directly out of your trading account, and that goes to the developer, the person or company that developed this trading system. And I'll also point out that all of the performance numbers are net of all cost. So I'll repeat, everything is net of all cost, all fees, all commission, all trading cost. So when you have numbers here that say annualized return on investment, 42.8%, that is net. That's a net number, net of all cost. And you'll see up here all the different metrics for its history, suggested capital, required capital. It's important to note that this $30,000 suggested capital amount is also the number used to generate all the performance data. So all the percentage data is based off of that $30,000 suggested capital requirement. And if you wanted to look at all of the icons here and you needed some explanation of what each one means, you just go ahead and click on the little plus icon. And you can see here the percentage of winning sessions, 61.8%. And the best session made over $3,000. The worst session lost $1,200, so on and so forth. Now, this is a really important table here. So this is anything that's white means the system was back tested during that period. So you can see back to 2008 is when it first started. So this is all back tested results. And when it's a white background. When it turns gold, it means, or green, I'll explain that in a second, but gold means essentially it's now on the platform and it's on AV systems and it's being tracked on the platform. And if it's green, that means it's live traded. So you can see here it got in March of 2018, it became, it was on the platform and being traded with live money. And you can see their month by month performance here and here. And then it stopped having live clients trading. And then it went just sitting here on the platform. And then in October of last year, some live accounts jumped on board. So you can see it's been trading with live money for this whole year, been doing great this year, 38.5% so far. Now let's look at March. I always want to point out March because we know what happened in the stock market. It fell apart, down 30, 35%, depending on what index. Let's take a look in March. You see $5,900 gain. So here's what happened in March. March 2nd, if you would have been trading the system, $150 comes out of your account. And then you can see all of the trading activity. Remember, this is intraday, so it gets into a trade and then out of the trade on the same day. But it doesn't necessarily trade every day, though. So you can see the profit and loss here. Lost money, made money, lost money, had a big gain here, loser, another gain, so on and so forth. And then by the end of the month, the accumulated profit and loss was about $5,900. So everything is very transparent and available for you to see day by day. And if you want even more granularity, you can look at the trade log. So you can see all the trading history. You can go back, well, there's 390 days worth, or not days, but I guess you could say the pages worth of data. So you can see here, the 29th, yesterday was the last trade. You can see the results here. The fill price, the best price, the worst price, accounts for slippage and all that. You can look at the session log. So you can just look at traded volume here was 2, so it got in and out. By end of day, it was flat. made 4.5 points, profit here at 348, so on and so forth. So everything is very visible, and you can download all that data as well to Excel and play with it. We always have people ask about that. Now here's what you do. If you wanted to trade this, you would click this here. In fact, let me show you just a different example, because that one here, not that example. Hold on just 1 second, folks. What I'm trying to show you is, well, I'll show you right here. See this padlock? That means you can unlock the system, and that's how you would buy the license. So let's click on this. It's a bond trading system. I haven't really looked at it. Don't know really what to expect, but okay. So this one has suggested capital of $15,000, and you can see the performance here. Having a good year, 37%. You can see in March it did well. Now this is what it looks like. You click the padlock, and it says buy license. It'll pull up a screen here. $75 a month is the cost of this system, and you would click subscribe, and this comes deducted right out of your AltaVest trading account. You would read the disclaimer, and you click accept. Now this is just a demo account, folks, so I don't even know if there's enough. There you go. I'll say I didn't know if there was enough capital in my demo account to add another system, but there is. So you've purchased the license, and now you need to activate it. So now we're on step 3. So this is what you do. Click activate. And the multiplier is 1 in this case because it's 1 unit of the system, meaning it's trading 1 contract. And you could choose to immediately activate or activate on the next session. But let's just go ahead and immediately activate. You'd want to read the disclaimer and understand that. Click accept and then activate. It'll take a moment here. The robots are thinking hard. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so there was not enough in the demo account, which is fine that you get to see that, because people always ask, what happens if you try to add a system and turn a system live, turn it on live, and you don't have enough money in your account? Well, this is what happens. It'll get a notice that you're have an insufficient balance. So that's perfect that you got to see that. But let me show you if it did activate, where you would find it. So let's cancel that. Let's close this. And this is where you go. Step 4, monitor performance. So this is where it would show up under my systems. I think there's a couple here in the demo account right now. Yeah, here we go. So you can see there's 2 systems I have active in this demo account. Here's an E-mini S&P 500 system, and here is a copper system. And you can see right now, this is live trading. This is currently long, 1 contract. And you see here it has a sell stop at 32.02. The last trade was 32.34.5, currently sitting on a small profit of 2 points. And that's what it looks like, folks, when you initiate or activate, I should say, a system and go live. It shows up right here under My Systems, and you can see this system here is flat for the day, 0 position. It has no position at the moment. It's up about $62. This system here, it's called Swing AG E-mini S&P ES, and profitable so far today, and accumulated profits on the system since I activated it and went live in this demo account, about $4,900. And then you see your accumulated profit and loss, your total profit and loss on all your systems is reflected here. And if it were a real live account, it would show more details about your account, like your buying power, essentially how much capital you have remaining, how much money you have to work with. So that is great stuff, folks. This is how you do it. Now, if you want to turn off a system and deactivate, you just click this here, and you would click Stop Strategy. and that's all you need to do. Or maybe you want to add to it, and you can change the multiplier. So that's how it works, folks. And I want to point out something here. Let me take a look. Well, let's just take a look at this system here, copper. I forgot what this one looks like, but just want to show you what it looks like. When you're actually live, it'll show you the status that you're running 1 unit of the system. And you could then stop the strategy from this tear sheet page as well. So there you have it, folks. That's how that works. And let's jump into the top 10. This is always fun. So for today, these are the top 10 systems right now. Trading, you can see silver, platinum, NASDAQ, heating oil, copper, the Dow, mini Dow, and you can see this swing trading system here in silver. It's gaining today about $4,600. It's currently short one contract at 24.30. It has a buy stop in place at 24.56. So it tells you what's happening, where the market is, where the stop orders are, profit orders, you name it. It's all visible. Let's take a look at that one just for kicks. So here you go, having a huge year, 383%. Of course, past performance is no guarantee of the future, of course, but that's an enormously, well, it makes sense because silver's been moving a lot since March in particular and has gold. So this system here is really, really doing well. And it's the top system for today. Now, if you want to see what happened yesterday, here's the previous session right here. Okay, another silver system did really well yesterday, a couple of them. And last month, your top trading systems here, you can see anywhere from 60,000 to 22,000 last month, last year, and then since 2001. So it's kind of fun to look at this page too, look at the top 10 systems. So with that said, I think that's a great overview, and it's very, very powerful, very simple to use, and people want to ask us, and I'll get to it in a second, but where do you begin? How do you even know where to start and what to filter for? But we're going to show you that in just a second here. Let me switch screens. All right, folks, it got kind of loud next to me there, so they had some saws or something going. Hope that didn't bug you. Put you on mute for a second, but hopefully you don't feel like this kid here going through the drinking from the fire hose. A lot of material in there, but actually it's very simple, very effective, and very easy to use. And I know what you're thinking. I've never traded futures. So, maybe you're intimidated by this, or you just think it's not for you because you've never traded futures. You're a stock trader. Well, keep in mind, you don't need to know anything about these markets. You're not looking at charts or fundamentals or studying the latest CFTC, commitment of traders reports and learning about the cattle on feed numbers and hogs and crude oil and soybeans. You don't need to know anything about it. The algos are written for you. They do all the work for you. So remember, you're looking at algos for metals, for energies, for the stock market indices, for currencies. And remember, let's get into this a little bit about futures. This is where you want to be, folks. Record volume, first quarter, massive amounts of trading going on in the futures markets. The advantage is they're global, they're liquid, transparent, you got leverage, diversification, easily long or short. There's none of that nonsense with borrowing on margin to go short or anything like that. You want to go short, you sell. You want to buy, you buy. That's it. And it's very, very cost effective. You see how you can filter for risk, profit, capital requirements, anything that you want in the platform. It's powerful, it's fun. And with that said, you can even use algos for options trading. So that leads us to the next segment here. We have a secret weapon for automated options trading up, down, and sideways markets. And we're going to even show you a secret strategy you've never seen before, something you can do in minutes a day. Even if you've never traded options, we can help you with it. And if you have, you're not trading like this, I can assure you that you're not. So remember, we talk about speculating. Look at that choppy market. I just threw that in there because it was so choppy. Whether the market's moving up, down, or sideways, and even hedging. We'll show you can hedge your traditional investment portfolio. And why do we like the E-mini S&P 500? The symbol for that is ES. Well, first of all, it's convenient. Follow one or two or three markets, and I'll show you which markets, the E-mini family. You don't have to follow thousands of funds and have a bunch of billion filters to try to have a watch list and that nonsense. And the index, of course, is less volatile than an individual stock. Here's a good example. Space or Virgin Galactic, down 78% from its high in February. And it's been consolidating since, but that's a lot of volatility. And I'll even, if you remember a few minutes ago, we looked at Kodak, 2,600% gain in a couple days. I think the shorts got cremated on that. But let's look at insurance companies. You know how they make money. They they get your money. You pay them premiums. You pay them to manage risk. So they're selling time, but they do insure themselves, and that's important. And I'll get to that. And they have a consistent approach to their business, and they look at probabilities. Long-term odds is what they're looking at. Statistics, expected returns, actuarials, just math, pure and simple, very dispassionate, very objective, just like a casino. Here, like for example, you spin that roulette wheel, bet on the green zero. You do that enough times, and on average, you're going to lose $5.26 per spin. So that's the house edge. So the casino uses math. That's how they stay in business. And they do it even though at times they will pay out winning. So they will lose at times, but in the long run, they're going to win. It's the law of large numbers. If you repeat that trial enough times, you get closer to the expected value as more and more trials are performed. That's all it is, and I'm sure you're all familiar with that. So, well, let's look at a baseball analogy, even though baseball is kind of on life support these days. I don't even know if they'll have a season. I don't know if anyone even cares at this point, but higher probability with baseball. You're going to get a base hit or a grand slam. What's the higher probability outcome? Well, a base hit. So that's what we like to look at with option strategies, high probability strategies, what we call base hits, by selling or going short options, collecting premiums. We need to be consistent in our approach and patient. We need to manage our risk. We will have losers. And manage reward. You need to do this knowing that you're not going to have grand slams with selling options, and you need the proper tools. That's really the most important thing. Remember, base hits, not swinging for the fences. So short option strategies, non-directional, bullish or bearish. And you're thinking, what am I talking about? How do you have a strategy for a non-directional market? Well, we're going to show you that. Credit spreads, insured positions, predetermined risk and reward, and they might be non-directional. When I say credit, that means you're trading options and you're receiving a credit. You receive the premium like the insurance company. And let's take a quick look here at this graph just to give you an idea. I won't go into it yet. You'll see it makes sense. This is kind of a typical example of the margin of error that we're looking at when we're doing some of these credit spreads. Now, before we do that, I'm going to jump into the Greeks real quickly. If you know this, it's going to go by quickly. And if you don't know it, it's super easy. And you're going to think, aha, the light bulb just went off. You can get really deep into the weeds with Vega and Rho and this and that. And we don't need to go that far with the Greeks. Just a couple of the fundamental building blocks to options. Delta. So let's say the S&P is at 2,500. And there's a put, and it's worth 15 points, and the delta is 0.25. And you're thinking, well, where's the delta come from? Well, that's just provided by data providers. You don't ever have to calculate it. So nonetheless, the market goes from 2,500 and it drops to 2,490. So it loses 10 points. What happens to the value of this option here? It was 15 points. Well, now it's 18 3/4. Because of the 0.25 delta, that just means it gained 25% in value. Now here's the real kicker. Delta is also the approximate probability of expiring in the money. So 0.25 means there's a 25% chance of expiring in the money, 75% chance of expiring worthless. Let's keep that in mind, and I'm going to use that in our demo in just a minute. And remember, delta is always moving with price and time, and is not the probability of a winning trade. So keep that in mind as well. Now there's theta. As you know, every option has limited life. Every option expires. And that sensitivity to time is called theta. It's a negative number, and it equals 1 day of time decay. So if an option's at 10 points, theta is negative 0.05, the next day the premium would be 9.95, and after that 9.90, and so on and so forth. So that's what that means. We're talking about theta decay. That's what it looks like. You approach time zero, and the value of that option premium starts to really, really drop due to time decay, all other things remaining equal. Now remember, if you're selling credit spreads, collecting premium, you would hope that the market stays real boring and that you can just keep all that premium and nothing happens. Just like an insurance company, you know, they're hoping there's not a bunch of earthquakes and they don't have to pay out a bunch of claims. So that's your whole goal. That's the idea. You want things to be boring, but we know it's never that easy. There's going to be risk management and losses that have to be dealt with. So we're going to show you those tools we use. And before we do that, I want to show you a couple graphs. Here's a simple example of a call spread, selling a call spread and collecting premium. Here's the market sitting here at this price. On this case, the S&P, the ES, the E-mini S&P 500. Sell a 35.30 call at 4.5 points. And when you sell it, you collect that premium. That goes in your pocket. But at the same time, you buy a 35.50 call, and that's your hedge or your protection. And you pay money for that insurance. So the net premium you collect here, $112.50 minus your commissions, and that's just that simple. And selling a put spread, same type of thing. Sell the 29.90 put, that's the red line. You collect 3 points, put that in your pocket, and you buy a 29.70 put. You pay out a point, the net premium there is 100 points. So that's how you would initiate a spread. That's what it looks like. Remember, these are not naked options. Remember, these are all insured and hedged positions. Your maximum risk is capped in advance. That's what you call a covered spread. So you do not want to be naked like these poor little critters here. And here's another advantage. Well, the big advantage, there's two really. You have unlimited loss potential if you're selling naked options, and you do that long enough and you're going to get burned. You do not want to sell naked options. I don't care what anyone says. And beyond that, margin calls. You're going to end up with all sorts of margin call trouble if you're doing naked options. And the way we trade, we do not have those issues. Now, here's a strategy called an iron condor. It's simply the combination of that put spread and call spread that we just looked at. That's all it is. It's a call spread and a put spread that you sell. You do it simultaneously, and you collect premium by selling the put spread, collect premium by selling the call spread, and you do that above the market and below the market, and you look for the market to stay in a range between those two spreads that you have sold. Now here's a secret strategy you've never heard of. It's called the dragonfly. I know you've never heard of it because that's our name. And it has 6 different strike prices, or 6 legs. And it's a variation on a condor. Here's what it looks like. And I'll explain it here, and then we'll jump into the demo. You sell 4 of these 33.30 calls in this example. At the same time, you buy 3 further out of the money calls, and then you buy 1 closer to the money call. And you do the same with the puts, the same structure on the puts, but let's look at the calls. So now notice the 32.90 call, the one you buy, in this example is 40 points closer to the money compared to the 4 that you sold. So what happens is If the market's moving higher and getting closer to the short calls, the one that you bought is going to gain value more quickly. The delta is higher. On the other hand, if the market's kind of flat or sideways, it's going to lose value slower because it's closer to the money. The theta decay just won't be as great. So it creates a completely different risk and reward profile. And I'm going to show you that in some examples here and compare the two. So this is a variation on a condor, and I think you're going to like it a lot when I show you. But here's the question people ask, so we're going to answer it. How would you even know where to start? How would you know what trade to create, what to sell, which ones to buy, which strikes, at what price? How do you know the timing of when to buy and sell? How did you manage that risk and profit? All those things. So here we go with the fake drum roll. It's called Theta Trader, pre-built credit and debit spreads. So Theta Trader uses a proprietary algo, and it builds what we call theta trades. Same sophisticated strategies that pros are using and that we just looked at. Bull, bear, and flat market strategies. So strategy for any market condition. And then we use automation. So you can automate risk and profit management with something called the RTI, the risk thermal indicator. So you can automate all of your risk and profit management and use the proprietary algo to actually create the trade for you, do the work for you. So with that said, I will go ahead and jump into the demo. So give me just a moment here to switch over. Oh, just 1 second, folks. I've got 3 screens. It's not that easy sometimes to shift around. They all kind of glitch sometimes and hang up, or there's like a 10-second delay. So no excuse, just letting you know it's not me necessarily fumbling all the time, although sometimes I do. Okay, so here we go. Just want to make sure you can see the screen, and you can. This is the dashboard for Theta Trader. And I will explain this and how this all works. And the best thing to do here is just sort of start. You can see the Theta Trade section at the top. These are open short positions in the demo account. It's just a demo account I'm using. So open short spreads like what we just looked at in the presentation. These are open long positions because Theta Trader can also buy option spreads. And here's your account info. This would be your account info all right here. And then current price quotes. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning. The very top, well, let's look at some theta trades. You can see there are bullish strategies, there are bearish, and there are neutral. And then we're looking at the 3 markets here. We talked about the E-minis. So you have the E-mini S&P 500, the E-mini NASDAQ 100, and the E-mini Russell 2000. And for the most part, all of our volume, not all of it, but mostly, especially of late, is on the ES. And that's really where most of the volume is, although NASDAQ and Russell do have an enormous amount of trading activity as well. So let's look at a condor. We looked at that in the presentation. So you can see the algorithm has pre-built these 3 trades for us, anywhere from 23 to 51 days till expiration. And let's look at this one here. We'll click on that. And let's look at all of the information and drill down. First thing I like to do is look at the chart. So here's where we are. Here's where the market is. You're selling this out of the money call spread and put spread. And you're looking for the market to move forward and basically stay in that range between now and expiration. All right, now you can see here 51 days till expiration. The settlement price was 2.4 points. Net premium collected, your put risk, call risk, your commission, available capital, cash required, your profit potential, targeted return on cash, targeted annualized return, Now, here's one thing I get often in terms of question. It requires $900 to place this trade, and you're looking to make $100 maximum. So why would you risk 900 to make 100? Okay, here is the answer. We talked about higher probability outcomes. The put that you're selling, the 2800 put, has a delta of 9.79. That means there's over a 90% probability that this option is going to expire out of the money. And here, look at the call here, the 3560 call, delta of 6.92. So you're, let's just say 93% probability that this call will also expire out of the money. So you're looking at base hits, higher probability outcomes, and that's the rationale behind this type of trading. Now, this is your targeted return on capital, just about 11%, and your targeted annualized return at 78%. But this is not a number that you would ever expect to generate on an annualized basis. It just assumes that you get into this trade and you hold it till expiration and you realize the full profit, and then you do it over and over until the end of the year. But that wouldn't be realistic to expect, but we do have that number in there just so you can compare one trade to another. So you see here the days till expiration, the shorter the duration of the trade, the higher that targeted annualized return, because it just assumes you're turning the trade over more quickly. So really just use that number to compare one trade to another. And with that said, you can see it's pre-populated as a sell because you're selling the condor, you're collecting the premium. Quantity always defaults to 1, but let's just say we're doing 5, and you can see as I change the quantity, the amount of cash required, profit potential, so on and so forth, moves up or down, depending if you go up or down. Well, let's go ahead and we'll do 7 of these. It takes about $6,300. We'll leave the price alone at 2.4. You don't need to worry about adding discretion on the order. That just allows the order to be filled at a slightly lower price if you would like. And let's go ahead and place that order. And there it is. You can see you sold 7 here at 2.4. It just assumes you're filled in this demo account. So that is so simple. Now here is the next, let's see, the next strategy I want to cover is the dragonfly. And before I do that, the best thing to do is look at a simulation. So we can go back testing and backwards in time and simulate trade history. And I've loaded some to save some time. And I'm going to compare the condor to the dragonfly. So let's go ahead and do this here. It's okay that you saw the chart play out because we're going to play it anyway. So let's go ahead. So here is a condor. Let's assume you placed an iron condor trade on January 2 of this year, and use this button. You can go forward 1 day at a time or backward a day at a time, or you could jump right to the end or use the play and have it day by day. So let me show you what's happening here. You can see this table down here, and as each day goes by, it gives you the P&L on the trade, and the green here is the RTI color-coded, and I'll show you how this works, but let's go ahead and keep playing. So you can see trade is still a little bit negative. Then it turns yellow. Yellow is slightly elevated risk, but no need to do anything. Now you can see the market starting to really drop. More elevated risk here. It turns orange. And then look at that. It turns red. And red is get out. That's where you get out. There's too much risk. You take your loss. This would be a losing trade in this case. You take your loss and you move on to the next trade. Now here's the important point. Let's make sure I cover this, and I'll show you in just a second how to make this happen. You can automate this. You do not have to watch the screen. You do not have to log in. You don't have to do anything. So if you place a trade such as this and you automate with the RTI, if it turns red, the system and Theta Trader is monitoring your position. It will automatically close that trade out for you. Okay, and I will show you that in just a moment here. Now let's look here. Remember, this was on January 2 of this year. What if on January 2 you did a dragonfly instead of a condor? Let's take a look. Same type of well, obviously the market's doing the same thing, but we're getting, back and forth between green and red, which is fine. That's typical when you sell premium. It takes time for that theta decay to work. It's magic. Turns yellow, slightly elevated risk. The market's moving higher and higher, getting closer to these short calls. But look at this, it turns blue. Blue means take profit. So the dragonfly actually matured and moved into profitability, so much so that the RTI and the algorithm said to take profit. You captured over 86% of the total amount of premium that was available at that level. And you can automate this. You can automate this so you don't have to watch it or follow it or track it yourself. When you hit a red, as we saw here on the condor, right there, Theta Trader will automatically close that trade out for you. Or if you hit a blue, a profit signal, Theta Trader will automatically close that trade out for you. So notice the difference though in performance. Here's the condor ended up as a losing trade, but the dragonfly ended up as a winning trade. And once again, that's because of the totally different trade structure. You're long this call right here, and that provides an additional level of insurance or protection that the condor does not. But the trade-off is the condor usually has a higher targeted return possibility compared to the dragonfly. And the reason why is because you pay money for this inside call and inside put. Now let's look here at another example of a condor. So here's November 20. Let's play this one out. So yellow, slightly elevated risk. You can see the trade's negative. And then it turns red, it loses money with 16 days remaining. Now, the same day on November 20, what if you had done a dragonfly? Let's take a look. It's green the whole time, which is good. Trade's turning profitable. You can see over here, the P&L is green. And look at that, it turns blue. It matures enough and is so profitable, you're capturing over 100% of the premium. And you're thinking, well, how do I do that? Well, you're getting paid. You're getting paid to close that trade out. Remember, this call here is gaining in value in this case because the market's moving closer and closer towards these calls. So you can see here on January 3rd, you have a profit-taking signal. But here on January 3rd, the condor was still actually losing $16. It hadn't matured enough. So there's a big difference depending on market conditions between the condor and the dragonfly. And we really, really love the dragonfly. That's really our proprietary bread and butter. We do a lot of dragonflies, even though the returns and the targeted outcomes are a little bit less. Now, it's not to say we don't ever do condors. We certainly do. But just want to point out the major difference between the condors and the dragonflies. Now, let me show you how to automate things. You just go to your settings. You click Activate Risk Manager, activate Profit Directive, go down and save your settings, and that's all you do. And then from that point forward, all of the RTI signals are automated. So if it turns red, you're out. If it turns blue, you're out. And it's just that simple, folks. And I wanted to point out here, while I'm on the settings here, we have tutorials, video tutorials in Theta Trader. There's also video educational series on options. If you need to take a refresher course on options, or if you've never done it, that's fine too. We make it real easy. And I want to point out, let me jump over here. If you want to know how your current trades are doing, you can look on the dashboard at your open positions, your open bought positions, either way. Or if you want a little more granularity, there's a full page that shows all your open trades, your open positions. All right, this is what it looks like. So you'll see here 17 short positions, 4 long positions, total profit and loss here on your open positions, short and long. And then you can see all the colors here on the RTI at a glance. And if you wanted to get a little bit deeper, here's a dragonfly trade. Let's say you want to look at the history of that trade since you placed it. So you can see here, this was placed on July 2, so almost a month ago, and it's getting very close to closing out. In fact, I would guess by tomorrow or the next day, this will be closed out for a gain, unless the market absolutely blows up. But that's what it looks like since we placed that trade on this dragonfly. So any of these trades, you can just drill down, and also you can look at your history under closed positions. And you can see in this case on the demo account, 20 trades, 18 winners, 2 losers, total profit and loss. There were 16 short option spreads, and they were all winners. That's what's high probability outcomes, right? So in this case, these worked out. But this is just a demo account, and you saw how I just randomly placed some trades. That's all this really is. So I wouldn't make too much of the results. We bought 4 spreads, 2 were winners and 2 were losers, and that's no surprise. Anytime you buy an option, that's a lower probability outcome trade. And once again, if you wanted to look at the history of anything, here's a condor, for example. You go ahead and just click on that, and then you can see here the history of that trade. Looked good all the way through. Yellow is really common, no alarm really. And there you go. Now, I want to point out a couple things. We looked at these non-directional strategies, the condor and the dragonfly, but keep in mind, we also employ bullish and bearish strategies. In fact, something we just did yesterday or the day before is take a look here, something called a bull hedge or a bear hedge. So in this case, a bull hedge is very simple, just a kind of a fun name for something wherein you buy an out of the money call spread and you sell an out of the money put spread to pay for it. So you sell this put spread, you collect money, and then you use that money to buy an out of the money call spread. And you can do the same thing if you're bearish, just the opposite. But I just want to point out there are bearish and bullish strategies, and we do get involved with these as well. We don't just only focus on the dragonflies or the condors. But I wanted to point out that the higher probability trading styles and strategies that maybe you're not as familiar with, and that's why we focused on the dragonflies and the condors. We like those a lot, and at the same time, we still do engage with these other strategies that are more directional in nature. All right, very good. And a couple other things real quick, and I'm going to show you the best feature. Here's our daily research called TradeScope. We do technical analysis on the stock market and reviewing our positions and a market outlook here. Looking at the dollar index, done nothing but drop all year, kind of crazy. Gold's making the highs, dollars down, stocks up. Boy, oh boy, a lot going on, folks. And then here is our daily trading narrative. It's our daily trading review. We write that every day as well. So it gives an idea what happened in Asia, in Europe, in the US, technical support, resistance zones, looking ahead, what to expect, so on and so forth. And with that said, let me jump in to the best feature of all. And remember too, there's that trading simulator. All these here are simulations that I preloaded just to save some time. But This is a lot of fun and very valuable tool. People love using this. You can click on whatever strategy that you're looking for and go back in time and set the date. And anyway, it's like a time machine. But let's go ahead and I'm going to jump into, this is the best feature of all, in my opinion. I think most clients would agree. Just a moment, folks. So hopefully you don't feel like this, Lucy and Ethel. The chocolates are moving too fast. They can't take it all in at once. So here we go. Let's make it super easy. Trade alerts in just a minute. Now, you're thinking, well, that's no big deal. Everyone sends email trade alerts or text message trade alerts. Well, that's outdated stuff, folks. That's baloney. These are one-touch trading alerts. Okay, so you receive an alert on your smart device. All you do is touch the screen to accept it or reject it. And our technology handles the rest because these are live, meaning they're integrated with your trading account. So there's no platform you have to log into. You don't have to copy an alert. You don't have to try to make sense of an alert and read it or whatever. It's all right there in front of you. And all you do is either accept it or reject it. And then your order, if you touch accept, the order's placed. Theta Trader technology handles it for you. And then, of course, once Theta Trader, if your order is filled, then you saw how you can automate the RTI. So if it turns red, you're out. If it turns blue, you're out. So that is probably the most convenient trading, self-directed trading I've ever seen. So here's what it looks like. You receive a link, you touch it, you see the graph, it's an iron condor. We point out something here. The account number, here's the premium you would collect. Here's the amount of cash required to place the trade. It's already correctly sized for your account. The quantity is already filled in for you. And how is that possible? Well, it's all integrated with your account. And you can see the days till expiration, targeted annualized return, current price. And if you like it, you just touch accept. If you don't like it, just touch reject. It's just a demo, so it doesn't go anywhere, but let's try that one more time. And I can tell you that people absolutely love those alerts. Absolutely love them. This is no joke. We get airline pilots. Yeah, I was in the cockpit. I got your alert. People, the proverbial on the golf course, get it all the time. And they say, oh, I really love those alerts. I don't have to pay attention to anything. I'm not tied down. I can do my thing during the day. So with that said, here we are, folks. Time to jump into the amazing offer. We put together a very valuable package for you. So you are ready to take action after seeing these demonstrations. It's called the VIP membership. In the past, we would offer these Theta Trader and AB systems separately, but in the last couple of months, we've bundled them together. And here you go. So here's what you get with your VIP. You get AV systems. You saw the platform. You saw how effective, powerful, user-friendly it is, having those algos trading for you, being able to search and sort, all that research and development, all of those professional systems done by developers on the platform, thousands of those system robots, was it 1,800 on there? US and global markets. I didn't really focus on that, but there are other markets available other than US. And then there are multiple sectors, of course. And all you do is flip that switch off or on. Everything's transparent. Nothing's opaque. Nothing's hidden. You have full control to turn things off or on. And there's full automation. If you turn it on, you just walk away. Your risk and profit management is all automated by the algos. You have intraday, in and out on the same day, or swing systems that try to hang on to a trade and capitalize on some momentum. And you can review all that live performance, download histories, you name it, it's all available. So with AV systems, global stock indices, currencies, financials like bond markets, precious metals, energies, grains, all those different sectors. Now, if you wanted to build a system, your own algo system, ask us how we know, but it is not cheap or easy. And one programmer to do one algo for one market, you're easily over $10,000 to have a professional do something like that for you. And then also with AV systems, you get our top picks. We call it the A list. You'd want to know if your systems are on the A list or not. Here's some examples. We work with clients and providing them this feedback and this guidance, allocating among a lot of systems and a person's account. So we do that, work with you there. And all of that guidance, a value there of $2,952. So you have AV Systems platform, the A-list, a value of over $13,700. Then you also get Theta Trader. So remember, this is the VIP membership, folks. That includes AV Systems and Theta Trader. So you see the algo-driven option solution. You have the Theta Trades, our proprietary algo, pre-builds those option spreads for you. Simple and effective trade selection and trade tracking. This is how easy it is to track your trades. Now look at this. That's what it looks like on your brokerage statement. Complete mess. And then you have the automation, the risk thermal indicator. You saw the color coding there. Non-emotional. We talked about emotions getting in the way. This takes the emotions out. You can put things on autopilot, activate that risk manager and the profit directive. And that's all you need to do. And then you have that simulation. We looked through a few trade simulations ourselves. Use those tools down here to play the markets forward and backward. Very valuable, very user-friendly. So you have Theta Trades, the RTI, and the simulator. Value of that software, $3,588. And remember, this is really critical, the trade alerts. This is really, really critical. You've never seen anything like Theta Trader, and you've certainly never seen alerts like this. All these alerts come directly to you, tailored to you and your account, and everything is interactive and integrated with your account. All you do is touch accept, and the orders are placed for you. And then, of course, Theta Trader and the RTI can then manage that trade for you. Yearly value on that, $4,464, and people spend a fortune on trade alerts. I talk to them all the time, so I know that that's a great value. So with Theta Trader, you have the software and the alerts, over $8,000 value. So remember, with your VIP membership, to summarize, you have the AV System software, the Theta Trader software, which includes the trade alerts, a value of over $21,000. But here's really the best part. This is what brings it all together. Here we go, folks, another corny drum roll. The VIP membership, you have your own private coach. We are not robots. So we offer a boutique service here with an experienced licensed trader, one-on-one training, screen sharing sessions. So if you want having someone to review your AV systems, selection, activating, deactivating your A list, your diversification, absolutely, that's what your private coach will work with you on. Looking at Theta Trader selections, trade selections, using the RTI, using trade alerts, maybe building some more advanced strategies, absolutely. You can do all that with your private coach. So remember, this person will onboard you, be your co-pilot. You'll develop a relationship with that person. You'll discuss your trading and your history, a value of at least $7,500. And I know that for a fact. People are spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars for mentors and trading coaches, even just online educators, which are all good and well. But I know that a lot of these people are charging 25 grand so they can train you um, on their education platform, and that's fine. But what we're saying is the VIP membership that is included, and your coach will do that with you, with your systems and your Theta Trader. So remember, VIP means AV system software, Theta Trader software, the trade alerts, the trading coach, a value of over $29,000. And all right, I promise I won't be corny anymore, but you know, but wait, there's more, kind of the infomercial, proverbial infomercial. Remember, you have the bonus of the trade scope and daily commentary. That's our proprietary research, valued over $2,900. And of course, I showed you those real briefly. We make the online tutorials available, of course, free there. We want you to have those tutorials, but that's available too. Just don't forget that. So you have the AV system software, the Theta Trader software, the trade alerts, the coach, the research, a value of over $32,000 for your VIP membership. So even at half price, I think it would be a fantastic deal, but we can do a lot better than that. But remember, you can save a lot of money with your VIP membership. You don't need, someone just asked me, do I not have to pay for data? No, you don't pay for data. Do I have to pay for a separate alert or technology fee? Or no, 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 no. So you can save all that time as well. I think that's kind of priceless. So we think it's the one thing that'll work for you, save you time. You can cancel their subscriptions, lower your stress levels, aggravation level. We think it's the one thing that works. This little guy thinks the same. So, and it's true, others pay tens of thousands for algo systems and trading software. I talk with them. I know for years, I know people have paid 25, 50,000 for systems. And if you're one of them, I hope it worked out for you. But here's our special VIP offer, AV Systems and Theta Trader together with your coach, $1,997. And we're going to do even better than that. So here you go, 60% discount before Sunday night. And you know what? We have offered this before. And every time we offer it, we have definitely people signing up in the past, even at $2,000 and more. But 60% discount before Sunday night. Here you go. What you've been waiting for. One payment only. This is not yearly or quarterly or monthly. And if I'm annoying you because I'm repeating it over and over, it's because we get asked all the time because people can't believe it. But yes, it's one time upfront, $797. There's your link, cf.altivest.com. If you had any comments or questions or feedback, our phone number, you're always welcome to call. And there's no excuse. If you think that you might just kind of be on the fence for some reason and aren't so sure, well, here's your chance to try. $797, 30-day guarantee, that membership fee. If you sign up and you decide within a month that this membership isn't for you or something happened in your life, you need to cancel, we'll refund that membership, that $797 membership payment. And remember, like I mentioned, we are a boutique style of service here. We're not robots. We are not these big huge brokerage firms that are taking 1,000 accounts a day at $200 each and never talk to anyone. We're real people with real experience, and we think we can do a good job for you in helping you along the way. So here's some FAQs. People ask, can they trade stock options? No. Remember, we talked about we trade futures options, and in particular, the E-minis. So E-mini S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and Russell 2000. That's our specialty with Theta Trader. Tax advantaged. Yes, there is tax advantage with trading futures and futures options. 1256 contracts, if you're not familiar with it. Let me show you what I mean. If you're trading individual stocks and you're in the highest bracket, you have 100 grand, 20% return, you pay $7,400 in tax. So a rate of return of 12.6%. Now, if you have that same return and you're trading with us, you only pay $5,300 in tax, $5,360, the rate of return 14.64. So a difference of over $2,000 in tax savings simply because you're trading in the proper instruments, which are futures and futures options. And there's no more itemizing all those individual stock trades and wash sales, which can be a real headache. We talked about IRA. Yes, a self-directed IRA, absolutely. There's benefits to that with alternative assets. You can diversify a portfolio by adding investments with a low correlation to stocks and bonds. It can help retirement investors control volatility and limit downside risk. So here's what you would need to know. And I just did a quick outline, but we're not going to go into it. But there's basically 3 steps here, 5 steps total. And the point is, we can do IRAs. We do them every week. Absolutely. Why trade ES options? Because they offer superior execution. They offer a cost savings of $4 to $15 per contract, according to the CME group. In other words, they have a tight spread. That's what that means. And it's the largest dollar size. This is a fascinating statistic. Look at this, folks. Here's the E-mini S&P versus the SPY. The E-mini S&P 500 is almost 10 times greater in dollar size than the SPY, than securities. Now, how about this? It's actually 2.5 times greater than all of the ETFs in the world combined. So you're trading in the right market when you're trading with Theta Trader and with us and using AV systems. Folks, we're in the right market. We're in the right space. And if you've not familiarized yourself with it, this is the time to do it. And that's why we're going through this with you. 5 other reasons for trading ES options. Average daily volume, deep liquidity is enormous. Look at this here. All the S&P 500 options, 94% of them are E-mini. So we're in the right space. Largest market share, densely packed strikes, 100 annual expirations, have granularity and coverage. So what that means is if you want to build, if the algorithm wants to build a dragonfly trade, it has all the strikes available. Try to build a dragonfly on a stock. It's not going to work. It just won't work. Trust me. Now, you can track just 1 or 2 markets, not thousands of markets on a watch list or something. The margin use is efficient, and there's a clear cost structure. The cost in trading is not opaque when you're trading futures and futures options. No hidden cost. Not a security option. Everything trades at the CME group on the Globex electronic exchange. All orders are treated equally, large or small, and there's no payment for order flow. So what am I talking about? Robinhood makes millions selling out millennial customers to high-frequency traders. They make hundreds of millions of dollars in cash income by selling customer orders to the high-frequency trading meat grinder. They are not charities. The only reason the high-frequency traders would pay Robinhood tens to hundreds of millions is that they can exploit the retail customers. So it's not just Robinhood I'm just picking up the idea that whenever they're telling you there's free stock trading, it's not free, folks. You're paying one way or another. Here's another article here. How the high-frequency Wall Street casino steals your money. It says here, algorithmic trading has turned the markets into a casino and the institutions always win. So if you're trading stocks, that's what they're talking about, day trading and short-term trading. And that's not what we're doing, folks. We are not doing that, as you saw. Look at this. Dominates it, and most people don't talk about it. It's a fabric of the market. Everybody's making money off the way the system is built. No one wants to change it. They may not charge you for a commission or a trade, but they make money off the spread. So that's called payment for order flow. All these brokerage firms are getting paid by third-party market makers like Citadel. So when you place an order, your order's not filled at the brokerage firm you think it is. It's being filled by a third-party market maker, and they're getting paid to send their orders to them. So this guy here says it's Tinder, but for money. Anyway, and he says stay away from, quote, free digital platforms. There's no such thing as a free lunch. The retail stock brokerages are not charities. They make up lost commission revenue in other ways, buried down in the guts of their workflow processes. And this one here, I won't beat this one to death, but this guy here says that free trading model is on thin ice. And he says, nothing of value is truly ever free. And I completely agree, folks. So with that said, what are our commission rates? Our rates are very competitive at 5.25, and that's round turn all in. Let me stress, that's all in, round turn. So if you go, I went on some big box brokerage site a while back, and they showed 225, but then there's a star by it. And you read the fine print, that's per side. So now you're talking, now you're up to 450 total, and then they add more fees on top, like clearing and exchange fees, and the total is actually higher than what we charge. And you know what? We're not even competing with them on price anyway. We have a totally different service, as you've just seen in our presentation. We have a value service with people involved, and they don't. So totally different anyway, but nonetheless, our rates are competitive. People ask, what is the performance of Theta Trader? But Theta Trader is a software platform. All traders make their own trading decisions, so everyone is different. I do want to stress here that performance is all net of trading cost. So everything in Theta Trader and AV System is net of all trading cost. And the account size, people always ask, how much money does it take? Well, the VIP membership, we suggest $50,000 to $100,000 split between AV Systems and Theta Trader. That would allow you to have multiple option spreads and several systems in AV Systems working simultaneously. Let's see here. And then, of course, if you have 100,000 or more, we'll refund your membership fee. So that happens a lot. People say, well, yeah, I'll do 100 or more or whatever it is, and we even get 7 figures, and that's great. We're not really interested in the membership fee so much. We just want you as our client, and the membership fee is one of those things where we'll be glad to refund that to you if you're an active trader with us. Trading account types, well, of course, IRA, individual, joint, corporate, LLC, and trust, all the above. You name it, we can do it. And just to close it up, why alternatives? Why should we even pay attention to the alternative space, futures options? Well, it says here it may improve diversification and lower your portfolio risk. Alternatives have a low correlation to traditional investments. Improve the risk and return profile of a portfolio, and they may help grow an investor's total return. And just to wrap it up, let's look at this. Look at where we are. Here's the NASDAQ. Put call ratio is at a record low. Meanwhile, prices are at record highs. So what does that mean? It means nobody is buying protection or insurance. Nobody thinks a disaster is going to occur. So I guess it's kind of like hurricane season's approaching, and everyone's projecting that there won't be any hurricanes, so nobody's buying insurance. Well, that probably doesn't end well at some point. When will that be? I don't know, but something to keep in mind, folks. If you're just sitting tight on your NASDAQ position or whatever it is, that's fine. You're making great money. But remember, nothing goes up forever. Here's a great chart on the S&P 500 election year seasonality. You can see here, looking into August, September, a little bit choppiness. And then as we approach November, at least historically, in an election year, we get a big sell-off, kind of interesting. Then we move back again. Here's S&P 500 corporate profits. Look at this here. I'll explain this here. Here's the S&P 500 moving up, up, up. And meanwhile, corporate profits are collapsing. This is from a couple of weeks ago. I think if we had an update, it would look even a little more dramatic there, that spread, the widest spread it's ever been. Economic recovery may not happen for 10 years, according to the SIBO. Total market cap versus GDP, our valuations are at record high. I think that number is like at 156 or something now. So that's a record high, according to the Northman trader. We like to follow him. Remember the big three, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. They are 16% of the S&P 500 and 33% of the NASDAQ 100, over $5 trillion in valuation. larger than the entire economy of Germany and roughly the size of the Japanese economy. And then why is the market moving up so much since March? Well, just look at what the Federal Reserve's doing. They're essentially, I guess, dropping money out of helicopters, as we used to say, and they're just providing liquidity. They're creating money. And how do they do that? They just use their keyboard and make it happen electronically. Just that simple. So are they creating a bubble? Well, a lot of people are making that argument, but meanwhile, the market seems to be hanging on and moving up and up and up. But nonetheless, against that backdrop, we like the approach we're taking with our options trading approach, with our automated systems, and we don't have to be tied to just one direction. We don't have to just buy stocks and hope they go up. This guy says here, you don't want to buy stocks unless you want to hold them for 10 years or more. I think he's right. And these guys are chatting, the bull and the bear. I'm long delusions, wishful thinking, and FOMO, fear of missing out. So remember, alternatives such as what we talked about, they have a low correlation, to traditional investments. That's why we like them. So we like portfolio 3, the alternatives there. That slice of the pie, we'd like to basically have you on board with us to be that slice of the pie in your portfolio. And that VIP membership, we think, is the answer. So we're going to wrap it up just to capitalize. AV Systems, Theta Trader, personal coaching, the VIP membership. We'd love to have you on board with us. Help join. You can jump on board, join our team if you're long-term serious about your success. And there you have it, folks. That one-time payment, and we'd be glad to work with you. So let's go ahead here and see if there's any questions. There's a lot of questions, but I think I answered a lot of them. So hold on here. Okay, here. Someone's asking about the systems. All the systems are built by different developers and placed on AV Systems platform. So each one has a unique algorithm, and you can view all the system performance like we saw for each of the systems. And yes, you pay the license fee for any system that you're trading. You saw how we did that in the demo. So some fees are $20 a month, some are 150 a month. It just depends. But remember, performance is always net of all those fees. And yes, you can always activate a system and deactivate it at any time, and then reactivate it also at any time. And let's see here, who offers this? Well, Altivest does. So Altivest, we offer the technology, and we are the brokerage firm. Let's take a look here. Someone's asking, yes, you can actually see all the fees and commissions for the AV Systems accounts. That's all visible, absolutely. And yes, we are a futures brokerage firm, absolutely. And what else here? And the recording will be available as well. And yes, we're trading options on futures, not stocks. And we're talking about iron condors, that's correct. Yes, we are the brokerage firm. So to use our technology, you trade through us. You wouldn't be able to use a different brokerage firm. It just wouldn't work. It's not integrated with anyone except us. And let's see here. Someone asked, but nobody works for free. How does your company get paid? Well, we're the brokerage firm. So when you're trading, the commissions flow to us as the brokerage firm. And yes, you can do a rollover or a Roth IRA. Yes, you may. And we work with our clearing firm in Chicago called RJ O'Brien. They've been around for over 100 years. So that's where the account is being held. And how do we set up the Dragonfly? That's a proprietary algo. We'll build all of those option spreads within Theta Trader. and you would set up your trading account with us, AltaVest, and security of the platform, it's definitely secure, and performance numbers for AV systems are included for every system. All right. And yeah, the trade alerts do show the maximum loss, and that's because that's the maximum loss is essentially the capital required. So it's the same thing. All right. And yes, it is a lifetime membership. We've been doing this since 1997 as a brokerage firm. So I think we're here for, well, we've been here longer than just about most other brokerage firms out there, I would say. And I think that's going to, oh, someone asked if they're Canadian. Unfortunately, we can't take Canadians. We'd love to, but that's just a regulatory thing between the US and Canada, kind of above our pay grade, as they say. And let's see here. Someone's asking, I talked about commissions already for Theta Trader and AV systems. The commissions are listed in the in each system, usually depending on the market, anywhere from $15, depending on the market. Minimum account size, I talked about that. And let's see, someone, can we trade ourselves or have you trade them? I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, the trades are only executed through us at AltaVest. And if you're not a US citizen, you may be able to have an account with us. Once again, it depends on the regulatory, basically the jurisdiction and where you're located. If you're in the EU, it's difficult. If you're in the UK, it's okay, or Australia, it's okay, so on and so forth. But contact me and I'll let you know. If you have less than 50,000, yeah, that could be okay. I would say the bare minimum we suggest is 25,000. And yeah, we developed Theta Trader ourselves. That is correct. I didn't understand performance. I'm not sure what that means. Your system has seen. And the money, the customer funds are with RJ O'Brien. They're the FCM. And we know we're not a bank, so there's no SIPC, or we don't trade securities. Remember, this is not the securities industry. I went through the whole segment there on how we're completely different and distinct. We're in the futures, commodity futures industry, completely separate from securities. All right. And yes, we're trading futures and futures options, correct. And 100,000 is not the required minimum, but that's what we suggest. Can you trade futures intraday? Yes, the AV Systems has many, many future systems that trade intraday only. And commission for a futures round trip trade and futures option. No, the commissions for the futures contracts in AV Systems are separate from the commissions on the options that are being traded in Theta Trader. No, we're not a bank, so it's not FDIC. It's not applicable to what we do. And yes, we'll get that recording to you. And trading history is back as far as the developer provides. Some of the trading history on AV Systems goes back, 10 years or more. All right, very good. Fantastic. There's a lot of questions. Yeah, actually, they're talking about, someone's mentioning butterflies, dragonflies. Absolutely. The option, Theta Trader options are 5.25. That's round turn all in. That's your commission per option. So very, very competitive. And with that said, boy, there's a lot. Thanks, guys and gals, for all the questions and engagement. So that's going to do it. We're going to wrap it up. We kept you a long time, and that's okay. I think we kept you occupied and engaged, hopefully. And there is the link there, of course. And there, go to that page, cf.altivest.com/VIP, or give us a call. But most people just go to the link, sign up, and then we get you in the system and get you onboarded and get you off and running. But remember, one-time payment, VIP membership, access to this very unique, valuable technology, as well as all of our experience. We put that in a package together, and that's why it's the VIP experience. Fantastic. Well, we will let you get going. Have a great rest of the day. And we had a ton of action here and questions, so appreciate it. And we're going to sign off. So have a great one, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye. Yes, a Roth. I just see this last one. A Roth account from another brokerage firm can be transferred. Absolutely. We get that all the time. So accounts can be transferred to us. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.